Yeah, and
It's a good place to be from.
what?
Comic-Con.
From a Comic Con?
Past
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah, exactly. But, it had to be done, and we dressed as a Victorian baseball team, 15 of us. It's pretty awesome. We did Potter characters and walked all through the gas lamp, and, I mean, people were
Did you
just,
do
like,
Potter
nuts.
characters as a baseball team?
No. No, we did them as Potter characters, and I was Professor Hooch, the Quidditch instructor.
Ah.
So, yeah, we had a lot of fun. We were on Sci-Fi Channel, everything. So.
I always thought, watching the movies, that Quidditch seemed like a magical Australian rules football. If you looked at it, kind of the goals were kind of like Aussie
Okay.
rules goals. It was big field, a lot like Aussie rules.
Okay.
And I played Aussie rules for a number of years.
Yeah.
Won a national championship at it.
Oh, well, congratulations to you.
Yeah, that's like never mind.
Never mind. How was your week, Michael?
My week's been good. It's actually been a very interesting couple of weeks for me, and that goes into our this week in food.
Okay.
It's been kind of a time travel week for me. I've really gone back to something that I'd spent a lot of time in, and that is working on my cookbook on contemporary kosher
I know, this is so
cuisine.
exciting.
But then you and I both went to Addison. And
Oh, my goodness.
a number of years ago, I'd staged there, and it really had a lot to do with why I'm here now. But I hadn't been back to Addison since those days.
Okay.
Since that time, and we went back there, and it really got me to think about how that influenced where I am. And what I think about food, and I realized that it impacted me a heck of a lot more than normally a couple of days might.
Well, it was my first time there, and I think, blown away when, well, it was nice when they asked, "Do you want a kitchen tour?" Yes, please. And I got to meet William Bradley, who I've just been hearing about for
Yeah.
years. What a nice guy. I mean, he was so easy to talk to. He was affable. The kitchen was immaculate, enormous. I mean, I was kind of a little bit in awe.
Let's put it this way: that kitchen is larger than many people's houses,
Larger than my apartment,
and
that's for sure.
it's cleaner than anyone's house.
Yeah, it was. I mean, sparkling. Yeah, it was just incredible.
And anyone who's ever designed a kitchen, one of the things that you don't do is you don't use tile. Well, they use tile. And the reason you don't use tile is because it's difficult to get the grout clean.
Yeah, it gets
well,
grody.
that grout was immaculate.
Yes.
And everything about it, the stoves are incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And they have any equipment that you could reasonably want. It's there, and it's in wonderful shape. It's a
Yeah.
great place.
It was.
And the food that comes out of there is immaculate's the word. It's there. We were essentially getting canapes and
amuse bouches, they were almost
amuse
like.
bouche.
Yeah.
They were,
Right.
but every single one of them just at the highest level of
Delicious.
perfection and the highest level of flavor.
It was really nice. Yeah.
And so, what was this week in food for you?
This week in food, actually, we're going to find out really after the show, but Michael and I are going to a brand new dumpling place called Steamy Piggy.
Steamy Piggy.
Steamy Piggy. And I got to tell you, this is going to just sound so weird. I'm like wondering who's running the place, because they're going to be having things like, did it say chicken quinoa bowls and tater tots and sweet potato fries? Immediately that makes me think, are they going to dilute the whole Asian influence of the dumplings? I don't know. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's in the convoy area. We will find out more after we go today. But
They had me at dumpling.
yeah, I know. But,
Actually, they had me at Steamy Piggy.
yeah. But again, the name Steamy Piggy doesn't also sound like a place that you would find in the convoy area.
Why
It sounds
not?
like it's owned by Americans. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll find out.
All right. Definitely.
All right. Well, our show today is what puts the gas in gastropubs, and we'd like to bring in our guests. Come on in, guys.
Yay!
Jayne Battle and Nick Nappi.
Yes, two wonderful people and wonderful restaurants.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've all heard the term gastropub, and it's one of those terms that many of us think have been around forever. If you say gastropubs, most people are going to think, we have them around us now. They've been around forever, but in fact, they really haven't been around forever. In fact, the name gastropub, the term gastropub, dates all the way back to just before Clinton was president. I think
Long time
I think
ago.
Tony Blair was the prime minister of Britain
Yes.
at the time. It was the Eagle Pub in London, and it, it's likely, I think it's probable that there were gastropubs, in Britain before then, but there weren't things called gastropubs before then. But what is exactly a gastropub? And to help answer that question, we have the creator of San Diego's first gastropub, Jayne Battle,
Mhm.
and we have Nick Nappi, who you might have seen on MasterChef.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And Jane swears to be British. I don't hear any accent anymore, but she has
That
been
is
here.
long gone,
Yeah,
yes.
she's been here since she was a kid. So yeah.
I still think I hear tiny
A
little bits
little
about
bit,
it.
yeah.
I don't hear
When you're
anything.
from Liverpool, it's you gotta get rid of that stuff.
You don't
It'd
sound like
probably
any
be
of the
great
Be-
for
you don't-
business,
You don't
but
sound like the Beatles. Sorry.
no,
Okay.
no, mom and dad do for sure.
Can I train you up on an accent?
It's not
What?
gonna- if you get me a pint of beer, maybe.
Well, let me talk a little bit about Nick. I mean, Nick was one of the final four, I believe, on season 6 of
Yep.
MasterChef, which was also the year that our friend Claudia Sandoval, who has been on the show,
Yep.
won, and she's an awesome San Diegan also.
And actually, I was seriously planning on trying out for that season, and the only reason I didn't is it occurred to me, okay, you're basically going to have to give away your whole law practice, so you would literally be all in on this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah, and that it is tough because you do kind of give your life away for 3 months, I believe.
Yeah,
Easily.
it's every day. It's every day for 3 months. You have nothing.
Yeah,
except
and I
for
want to know
boredom.
how you ended up on the show.
I actually didn't want to be on the show. My wife now, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, she signed me up when I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, and that's Janelle.
Yeah.
I met Janelle. What a little cutie. Yeah.
Yeah, she said, you got to stop selling yourself short. And I said, I'm not. And she said, yes, you are. And she's right. So one day
good
I woke
woman.
up, had an email from Fox asking me if I was ready for my audition. And I asked her, what the hell is this? And
Oh.
she said, well,
How did you know to ask her?
because who else would have done it? And she had just talked about it. And then
One of your baits is just a lark, a
what's that?
practical joke.
No, I knew it was her. It just smelled like something she would do. And I said, I'm not doing it. She said, yes, you are. That's the end of the conversation. And here we are, 4th place, fan favorite, got married on the show the next season.
Yep.
So it was cool.
Oh, that's
Great
right.
up.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's right. I remember
And,
that.
and how I know her is I came to watch you at the travel and adventure show here in San Diego, and there was a
Yep.
chef battle.
Yeah.
Between you and Willie Ike of 608.
Yep.
And Tom Lodson, of course, of the Balboa.
Yep.
And there were these girls behind me who were just yelling and screaming. Finally, I just turned around, to look at them and smile, and here's this cute little blonde, and
Yep.
I'm like, okay, you guys must know him, right?
Yeah,
she's
she's-
like, yeah, it's
Could
my
have married
husband.
him.
Yeah.
She's
So-
good. She's good at making me feel better about myself than I usually do. She brings a bunch of girls who are always
Aw.
screaming.
Okay,
It's
we
cool.
love hearing that.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
and also,
but that's really safe because, you're not going to do someone with, when your wife's right there.
No, she just brings them in and then she tells them to leave.
Exactly. That's actually very good tactics on her part.
Yeah, she's smart.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And
So-
you were the chef at Werewolf before this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
After the
how
show.
long has it been since you've left there?
2 years now.
Okay, good. Because the reason I say that is, I'm sorry I have to bring it up. Just when I was invited there just a couple of weeks ago, and the food was just not your food. I'm sure not your food. Whatever they've done since you were there. Anyways, I wasn't impressed. But anyways,
I love that whole group, so I can't say anything. But what is good
Yeah.
about them is they got #1 Yelped, or what is it? They got something from Yelp. It was like a Yelp highest rating from Yelp restaurant in San Diego.
when
Yeah.
you were there.
Probably.
Yeah. It's a little different now, but that's all right. And now he's got Bar One, which Michael and I have both eaten at, and some really yummy stuff. I remember the lamb meatballs.
Lamb meatballs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, those were good.
Yeah.
And
Not your mom's overcooked lamb.
No, we do it right.
Yeah.
Keep it nice and medium.
Well, and speaking of that, we had I had lamb shepherd's pie last night at Jayne's Gastropub.
Nice.
And it is difficult to talk about gastropubs in San Diego without talking about Jayne. And Jayne's originally, as she mentioned, from Liverpool. Liverpool, for those who don't know, is in the north of England. Basically, when you say the north in England, you're talking about Liverpool, Manchester, and at least when it's me, Leeds. But how did you end up over here opening a gastropub with absolutely not a stitch of an accent?
Oh gosh, I've been here so long. My family, we emigrated in about 81 through New York, and we were in Pennsylvania for too cold, Arizona too hot. Eventually settled in San Diego.
Oh.
Like the Three Little Bears.
Pretty much, yes. And
This feels just right.
but I think I was telling you, I hadn't seen a peppercorn or a garlic clove till my teens, and I moved up to San Francisco for college, and it just exploded for me up there. And
Where'd you go up there?
to San Francisco
San
State,
Francisco,
and then just stayed for about 12 years and worked.
It was probably pretty cold there.
It was, and I actually moved back after 1 year, thinking I don't know, and then I thought I got to go back and do this again, and then I lived in the city and at least had the all the different the weather that has to offer. But that's just really where I fell in love with food and wine and dining, and I was a server, bartender, and just started gravitating more and more towards the kitchen and what can I learn. And fast forward, I relocated back to San Diego in '02, and my then boyfriend, now husband, but we. One foot in, one foot out, just on food alone. Like, should we just go back and miss this, miss that? And it just spawned, what if we just try to start a little neighborhood place? And when one of my last trips then to London, I had been introduced to the Gastropub concept. And, I thought I'm just going into a pub to have some fish and chips, and was just blown away by how the quality was just so much better, and really unique menus. So we just settled on, my dad wanted to be involved, and he said, let's do a pub. And I said, all these years in San Francisco, it's got to be more about the food, Dad. So we settled on the Gastropub concept. And at the time, the name was not popular. People did not like the name. You'd see their faces. They'd walk by and read the sign.
For
like,
Americans,
what?
you hear gastropub and the word gas kind of
Exactly.
really, but you know what? Gas also is what fuels something.
Yeah. But I think it was really just about bringing an elevated, just high quality, simple menu. Where can you get a great burger, a roast chicken, shepherd's pie, fish and chips? Certain things like that are always going to remain on the menu, but we do a lot of seasonal, fish and pastas, and just eclectic, high quality, and in a nice upscale atmosphere.
Well, if you look at OED, Oxford English Dictionary, the term gastropub is defined as a public house which specializes in serving high-quality food. But that begs the question, what does high-quality food mean?
I think it has to do with what's coming out of the kitchen. I don't think it has to do exactly with the ingredients. I think it's more of the idea behind what the chef is putting out, or the cooks are putting out. I mean, you can have, I've seen some high-quality hot dogs coming out of kitchens now, where they're, using great meats, but they're just putting the attention to detail.
But you still said great meats. They're using great meats.
And sometimes having the restraint, letting the food shine through, not...
Right. And I also noticed even in some of the articles before you even open, the word gastropub was bandied about. And yet there's no mention of gastropub on your website, or it's being called that. And it's being called a sports bar. So what's the difference?
I think we went with the neighborhood. So our whole goal was to open up something for the neighborhood to feel comfortable with.
Kind of like a pub.
Yeah, kind of like a pub. But there was, there's already Waterfront and Princess Pub that were in the neighborhood.
Right.
Our niche turned out that we put up a bunch of TVs because we were just dudes building the place. So we thought TVs would be cool.
Which automatically makes it a sports bar, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And we opened later than we thought, and we opened right during football season.
Right.
And we just got this huge following of football fans that wanted to come and watch the game. They had nowhere else to go to watch the game and listen to the sound, and then eat good food.
Oh, okay.
But that's not the different than a British pub. I mean,
Sure.
you'd go down. When I back in the '90s, when I visit my friends in outside London in Essex, and back then there weren't 65 channels of football to choose from. In England that you could see. Actually, we could see more. We could see more soccer games on television in America at that time than you could in England. And so, if you wanted to see the game and you weren't going to the grounds, you'd go to a pub.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically a sports bar, at least on game day.
Sure.
Yeah, that might be the only thing we're bucking the trend on. We have no TVs.
Right.
It's been for good or bad. I'm happy with it.
It's working
but
for you,
yeah,
right.
it is.
Sure.
But Nick, did you purposefully shy away from the word gastropub?
No, I think it just kind of happened.
Okay.
We still keep the feel of a gastropub.
Yeah.
We're still doing, great beer. We rotate and try to shine with all the San Diego craft beers and stuff. But our food is the most important to us. And sports bar was just something that we got labeled, I think, because of where we are and what we have, when nobody else does in the area. But Gastropub is still our number one. You know, we want to give you the food. We want to, you know, show you that there's no restrictions in our kitchen. You know, we're just kind of coming up with stuff. That's what I think. Really, that's what I think Gastropub is. It's somewhere where you're drinking and you have good food, so you don't have to leave.
Well, both
to
of your
go get
places,
food.
both of your places have on the menus an Italian influence.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, does that go back to the origin of Gastropubs?
Probably not for me. It's probably could be my San Francisco inspiration, but I don't know. For me, it's definitely a European eclectic menu. I mean, we have schnitzel sometimes. We do
Yeah.
German. You know, it's just a European eclectic. I mean, I think when I first started, I always thought it had to have it was a British influenced, you know,
Shepherd's pie.
concept. Yeah, I thought, but I think the term definitely has stretched, and they're in Norway, and I've heard of Italian gastropubs.
Yep.
I mean, I think
Right.
it's, you know, it's means something different now, but you know, it's yeah, we definitely have a European. I mean, always going to have, like I said, you know, those British dishes, bangers and mash, elevated bangers and mash.
Sure.
But yeah,
And, you know, it's weird because I noticed, I mean, I have to say it because I noticed the price differences also in Nick's place and in Jayne's place. And I think Michael and I were both kind of wondering, does Gastropub sort of give you I don't know, the license to charge more?
I don't believe so. I just think food costs a lot of money now, and I think
Yeah.
people are in for, you know, it's very expensive. And for us to do a full service, I mean, it's becoming more of a rare. You know, you're competing with the fast casual, and I don't think the price is always so much different. You know, and you tend to do a lot of the work yourself, and still tipping 20%. But I don't know. I think for us, it's more we try, you know, tablecloths, fresh flowers, you know, nice stemware. We're trying to just.
Oh, yeah.
It's just in the details for me. It's the only way I can do it, and you know, probably
but
still
you're not
not
gonna
charging
see-
enough money, but you know.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see that in a sports bar. You're not going to see tablecloths in a sports bar.
No.
You know, you're not going to see Gordon Ramsay and Marco Pierre White and
Yeah.
Eston Blumenthal opening a sports bar.
Yeah.
But all three of those, you know, the three of the most noted chefs that Britain's ever produced, all have gastropubs.
Sure. I think it's because Gastropubs let the chef shine.
Exactly.
It's not just the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the chef gets to play. There's just
yeah.
really no limit to what you could do in a gastropub. You go to like a white tablecloth place, and you look at the menu and you see things, you're like, oh, that makes sense, or oh, that's kind of off the beaten path. But you go to a gastropub, you don't even realize that it's, you know, lamb ribs with a gorgonzola sauce, right? It's just that's what happens
Right.
and it can be built crazy with the fire flame flying out of it. But it's a gastropub. You get to have fun there.
Well, I did have a British boyfriend back in the early 2000s, 2000, 2001 too, and I was constantly going back to he lived in Croydon, which is not far outside of London, and we went to a lot of the gastropubs then, and I don't remember anything really being very elevated, although Michael and I argued a little bit about that last night because I felt in your place, I felt like we were in a fine dining restaurant. I mean, I got white tablecloths, your patio is lovely. I don't feel like that when I'm in Nick's place, which did because he's not going for that concept,
Right.
obviously.
Yeah.
So you know, it was nothing like the gastropubs that I remember seeing back when they started in England. So
I think the term might be used a little loosely sometimes. People say, I got a bar with a kitchen in the back, so now it's a gastropub. But I think it's
Yeah.
all up to anybody's interpretation, right? It's not. I think what really happened is that somebody had a bar and they watched people leave to go get food, and then they maybe came back, maybe they didn't. This was just a way to keep them there for a lot longer.
interesting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, traditionally the pubs didn't have much of a kitchen
Yeah.
in the back.
No, I think it was bare bones. You know, just enough. Yeah, like to keep
Scotch
people there
eggs.
and drinking. Exactly. Which
Well,
we
yeah,
do a
it-
fabulous Scotch egg at brunch.
I love
Ooh,
Scotch eggs.
Scotch eggs,
Yeah.
yes.
In fact, I love the Scotch eggs at Shakespeare's.
Yeah.
You guys do a Scotch egg?
Okay. Well, we only do brunch a couple times a year,
Sure.
Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, but we do an amazing Scotch egg. Really, really good.
Oh, I
So
bet. Oh, I bet. I've only had
bit
them. At
runny
the,
inside.
I've had them at the Renaissance Fair. That's
You guys got to come try the Sicilian egg that we do. It's
Oh,
the,
so what's that?
It's a soft-boiled egg inside of a meatball, then deep fried
Oh,
Nice.
with our
yeah.
basil cream.
your version, yeah.
Because I'm a little proud to be an Italian, so I like
a
to
little.
I like to
just a
take
little.
other people's things and make them better. I mean, different.
I remember your season of MasterChef, you know, cursing at you because
Oh, yeah.
you're sitting here saying, you know, you're from San Diego,
Oh, the
and
Mexican.
you're sitting here saying that you don't like Mexican.
No, I love Mexican. I didn't know how to cook it.
Oh,
if you can
I'm
meet
the
my
one who says
grandmother, there's no other food except for Italian food. You tell her there's a Mexican restaurant. She goes, so just Mexicans stand there and eat Italian food? No, there's other food in there.
That's funny. That's funny.
No, it's just that,
Yeah.
well, when I went to Italy, my thinking was I can speak some Spanish. I don't speak any Italian. I'll just go speak Spanish and wave my hands around a lot.
Sure, yeah, just move your hands. Yeah, absolutely,
That's right.
absolutely.
That's funny. So, do you guys think gastropub food is like food then drink or drink then food?
I think food then drink.
Yeah, so do
I
I. I
really
think
do.
that's the goal. I mean, it's a weird dichotomy, right? When you look at your numbers, you want the food revenue to be higher than your alcohol revenue. That's a successful gastropub, which is so crazy to the old mind of opening a
Interesting.
restaurant or a
Yeah.
bar where liquor is your top and then food.
Right. I always thought that.
My goal with my staff and when I meet with my partner, it's how do we get the food higher than the alcohol sales?
Yeah.
Is it the same for you? I mean, with John's Wine List?
Yeah, I mean, wine was definitely our first passion. We didn't have full liquor in the beginning.
Yeah.
We added that a few years later, which I didn't realize was,
A
do we
thing?
really need it? And then we did. We opened up, I think, to a lot more people, and I think we were one of the first to really have the craft cocktails, like in a restaurant setting like that, in a small restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely on the forefront of that. And sometimes not so much good, but the cost of a drink is not. You're not serving Jack and Cokes all night. Those
No,
still
Right,
have their.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think for us, it's funny to look at what sells the most, and you go through. But
What
burger,
does sell the most?
Our burger and
Yeah.
our steak.
We had
That's
her
a
there,
really
yeah.
good burger.
It's
It
a
is
delicious
very,
burger. Yeah.
very good burger.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, gastropubs are, the term, certainly over in Britain, it has cachet. In much of the British world, in much of the Commonwealth, it has cachet. I'm not sure that it has the same cachet in America that it does in, say, Canada or in Australia or in Britain.
Yeah, I mean, we even loosened up on the, it was Jayne's Gastropub, and then we almost even we dropped the Gastropub
Oh,
for a little
really?
bit. It
Okay.
just kind of shortened it, and it's funny now. I kind of feel like it's coming back, and I even just did a search San Diego Gastropubs the other day just to see, and I couldn't believe the list of, and you might not even be calling yourselves that, but it really is now a niche that you just fall into with,
Does April Bloomfeld have something to do with that? Is
I,
her success?
I think definitely. I mean, that was, one of the first ones I went to in the States, Spotted Pig.
Spotted Pig, yeah.
Yes, I absolutely. At that time when we got started, she was just huge, and now in San Francisco, she's got.
When did she open up? It's Spotted Pig.
That's a good question, but I want to say early 2000s, right?
Yeah. And I, remind me the name of her place in San Francisco now.
Well, I know she took over Tosca,
Right, that's what it was.
that
That's
amazing Italian bar Tosca, and she's taken that over. And,
It
and
was.
reinvented
It was in its day an amazing bar, but it had fallen. By the
It
time I
had,
lived
but
there,
it
it had
still
fallen.
had. I don't know. I loved going to Vesuvio across the road
Yeah.
in Tosca, and I know it started to become like
It
a
had good
hall.
ghosts.
Yeah, exactly.
Good ghosts.
And a great Irish coffee. But yeah, I have not been, but it's on my list when I return to check out Tosca.
Huh.
So when you did your search, how many gastropubs
I
did
didn't
you
even
find?
get through it. I mean, I hate so many things I hadn't even heard of. I need to get out more, but it was just it's a big group of restaurants for sure.
Yeah, it's a huge list now.
Huge.
As I was thinking about this topic, even before we decided definitely to do a show on gastropubs, one of the thoughts that occurred to me is, on the one hand, it's something we feel like we've known forever. On the other hand, how is it different than a Japanese izakaya? How is a gastropub different than an izakaya?
I don't think I even really know what that is. So
Well,
explain
it's
to me.
basically a Japanese
Right.
restaurant / drinking establishment
Okay.
that basically started out as a Japanese beer bar
Mm-hmm.
that that
Stay
would-
open a little later,
Mhm.
usually.
and then they began just putting really great kind of Japanese greatest hits food. So you could get ramen there, you could get you could get sushi there. Not a lot, it's not a sushi bar,
Mhm.
and very often it would be served to you at a table rather than at a bar. And all the different greatest hits of Japanese cuisine, very food first, but also not very far from its bar roots, and that sounds a hell of a lot like a gastropub to me.
I'm sure concept-wise they are very similar. I guess it would just be the type of cuisine, I
Yeah.
mean, pub food, elevated versus,
I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, that's probably it's just like saying soccer and football. I think it's just wherever you're from. That's what it's going to be called. I think maybe Izakaya means gastropub. We never know. That should be on our next show.
Oh yeah, we should be looking that up. I guess, right?
Maybe there's a Japanese person listening going, it means gastropub.
Now, if we were on Facebook Live now, I guarantee you someone would be looking that up and telling us
Yes, of
exactly what it means.
Right. And you've been doing this for 10 years already, Jayne.
starting our 11th year. Yes.
11th year. So, do you see any difference from when you first started and calling it a gastropub to, like, did people come in and go, what does that word mean? Or was the word familiar
In the
to people?
beginning, no. I think people were absolutely like I said, what does that mean? I don't know if I like that name. Tell me more about it. But I think it was yes, esoteric in the States at the time, and I think we were the first in San Diego. But yeah, now it's
Now you don't feel that
no,
right now.
I think everybody knows.
And
what it
everybody
is.
just calls you Jayne's, right?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can just shorten.
I
it
get
and-
both.
Yeah.
I get both. Yes, it was gastropub a lot more,
Mhm.
but I still hear it.
And then you may know David, Waite, who has a
Yes.
what Wrench and Rodent Sea Bastropub, which obviously he's made up that name.
Yeah.
Because people, first of all, a lot of them can't get past Wrench and Rodent, and they're like, what? And then what's that?
But it's he came up with the name exactly because of British pubs and gastropubs, and I believe his grandmother had a pub in England,
Right.
and so he grew up with the pub world all around him. And he definitely wanted to play on the idea of a pub, and that's why it's this and that. Back when he opened Wrench and Rodent, there wasn't the absolute fascination with naming everything this and that, bull and grain.
Sure.
It's huge now.
with the X
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and, all having the same
crest.
Yeah, but he wanted that, but he wanted it to be more than just a pub, so he wanted to play on the gastropub name. That's why, since it was a fish place, he wanted to call it a sea bastropub.
He could call it whatever he wants. The food is amazing.
It is
He can-
Yes, it is.
phenomenal.
Very
He put
creative.
rodent. He put rodent in the name, and
It's
I
still
still am
popular.
hungry when I say rodent.
And
know.
and the thing is that that's not what people talk about the place. He very nearly was on the top 100 worst name restaurant names
Yeah.
list. And that's not what anyone talks about the place, because if they've eaten there, they're talking about something very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So, coming off of MasterChef, why did you go to Bar One?
Well, I went to Werewolf first, and that's just kind of where I found my love for leaving the kind of fancified food and
Okay.
actually just getting down to the roots of what I used to love. I always loved being in bars. I grew up in bars. My
Okay.
dad put me on a stool while he drank with his buddies, and I did my homework. That's where I come from. So, watching and Werewolf was a gastropub in itself. They're an American pub.
they are.
Watching the chefs be able to get creative and still have that kind of down to earth, hanging out atmosphere where people are still drinking and laughing and not, lighting candles and stuff on their tables really appealed to me. Then, luckily enough, I met Jim Barone, who's Bar One, Barone, right?
Oh, duh.
Yeah, there you go. I met Jim Barone, and he said, I've had this idea, and I heard you had an idea. You want to collaborate? And we met for coffee a few times at his cafe, and just ran with it. We had to bring in a female opinion every once in a while, because if it was up to us,
Right.
it probably would have been a lot uglier.
a man bar.
Yeah, it would definitely.
Man
be a
cave.
bar.
Man
Yeah.
cave, right,
We had
right.
like inflatable chairs picked out and
Oh,
different
jeez.
teams, stuff like that. So we brought in his wife. His wife's a
Inflatable.
genius. No, I'm
chairs.
kidding. I'm kidding. Those were my
60s,
those were my man
60s.
cave at home. I have those now. Me and my bulldog.
I don't want to
Sean.
know about that.
No. And then Bar One was just we wanted to do something that brought back Pete's Meats. You guys remember Pete's
Oh,
Meats?
yeah.
I haven't been here long enough, probably.
Oh yeah.
Pete's Meats used to have a line around the corner. All he
The
did was sausage
best.
and peppers. That's
The
it.
best.
And he sold sausage and stuff, but all he had was sausage and peppers.
God,
He
I
sat there with this
totally
big mustache.
spaced on the fact that that's where it was.
So that's where Drinks and Links comes from. We were going to
Okay.
put a real emphasis on links. But that kind of just goes with what gastropubs are. We did that for the first 6 months. The links were huge. But we got not bored, but we wanted to do other things. Like I was saying before, the chef wanted to experiment. So we changed the menu.
Right.
We still focus on fresh links that we do ourselves.
Yeah.
But
We had some of them. They
yeah.
were delicious. Yeah.
But that was just the idea, just somewhere that people can come hang out. We were kind of watching what was happening to Little Italy. Although it's amazing, it's expensive, and it's hard. It's hard to go out every day, or you can't. It's an event to go eat in Little Italy. So there are people that live there.
Parking in Little Italy is an event.
Alone.
It'll get you 2 stars on Yelp too.
Which he was just telling us. Yeah.
So we wanted to make something for people to be able to come and sit down, have a drink, have something to eat, and not wake up in the morning and say, what happened to my bank account? And I think that's really where a good gastropub will make you feel comfortable. You can eat really good food and have some good drinks, and then maybe you can come back the next day.
I mean, how do you balance that with Little Italy rents?
Because your prices are so reasonable.
Yeah, we kept, when we were picking the space, it was either going to be a big space or a small space.
Yeah.
So I always remember my father telling me, if you ever wanted to have your own business, keep a small nut. So that's what we did. We kept it real small, and it's worked. Our guys in the kitchen are great. They turn over food. We turn over tables as quickly as possible, except when there's football games. You can't get them out of here.
Yeah.
Maybe this year will be easier because there's no Chargers, but no one watched those games anyway, so we'll be all right.
Oh, ba-dum-bum.
But yeah, we bank on making people come back. Our guests, we have so many regulars. They're amazing. Again, I think they love the Gastropub. You could be a regular at a Gastropub.
One of the things that I love about Bar One is that last time I was in there was the last time I got to see my team Leeds United play.
Yeah,
because it was on the telly.
Yeah, we'll put anything on. We don't care. We'll have synchronized swimming. I'm watching synchronized swimming this year because I'm a Niner fan.
No.
So
I
I found new sports to watch because it's going to be a terrible season. But we literally
look.
Put anything
You're going to
on.
have a season.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
All that matters is hockey, anyways. But so
I don't know. I grew up in California. I don't know what hockey is.
Yeah.
I did too. But we had hockey here. You just didn't know about it. That's all.
No.
Yeah, I even played for 7 years myself.
Did you?
So yeah, as an adult.
As
Really?
as the enforcer.
My son played, and then I fell in love with it, and I played too for a while. So
That's cool.
yeah, it was fun. But I wanted you to like describe your menu a little bit, Jayne. Like, tell us some like the kind of dishes you have on there.
Well, there's a few things that have been on since the very beginning, and definitely inspiration from my San Francisco days. But we have an excellent. It's called gamba salihillo, and it's
that's what I had last night, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's an appetizer cast iron skillet with large prawns sautéed with fresh sliced garlic, chilies, olive oil, and comes with grilled baguette. So that's kind of. There's a Spanish place in San Francisco I love. That's my homage
Which
to
one?
them. Zarzuela.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Love Zarzuela.
That was delicious.
Very good.
Especially dipping
good.
the baguette in the oils.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
I mean, it's so eclectic. Right now we have a fundito on because I worked in a Oaxacan restaurant in San Francisco for years, and so we have with epazote, fresh poblanos, house-made salsa, really delicious. And then as for some of our mains, I mean, our burger has become pretty legendary. Every Tuesday night we do basically a draft beer comes with the burger. But it's a Nyman Ranch meat, aged Vermont cheddar, house pickled onions that we pickle in star anise, cinnamon, delicious with garlic aioli.
If you've had pickled onions, very often they come out too acidic. Yours had a real sweetness, a
you
real
could see
deep
everybody
sweetness to it.
Everybody at the table was grabbing the extra ones that were falling off the onions because they were so.
I think I grabbed one off of your hamburger.
Yeah, I think you did.
Quarter of the hamburger.
We do a perfect little mini size for happy hour too.
Oh.
It's not even that mini, but delicious. And then we have our roast half jadori chicken, brick chicken that we literally, put a brick on in the cast iron skillet, cooked to order. That comes with a pine nut currant couscous and a wonderful arugula salad, and our braised short ribs with our Gruyere specule that's on right now. So those are some of our.
So Nick, how did you evolve your menu from Pete's onward?
Even though we wanted to be different than Little Italy, we still have a Little Italy crowd that you have to keep happy. So we had to step it up a little bit with just the variety of what we have.
Okay.
We've taken a real interest, or not interest, but we've taken a real push towards our burgers. We use Central Meats. They've got some of the best beef I've ever had. We use a steak cut for all 6 of our burgers. All of our sauces are made in-house. We don't buy anything anymore except for the Heinz yellow mustard because I haven't figured out how to make it yet. But once I do, we're going to make that too. It's just been a goal of ours. It's something that has been important to me and my staff. My staff is insane. They don't want to buy anything. We want to
make in-house.
We want to make everything in-house. And
Yeah.
the reason is, these guys will have their significant others come in or their kids come
Right.
in and go, oh my God, that was the best ranch I've ever had. How come we don't have that at home?
Right.
And he's like, well, I got to start making it for you because we make it here. So that's kind of been our thing, is just make sure that everything's in-house, which has really helped with our costs too.
But you know
Oh,
what?
I
There
bet.
are some things that that are prepared products. I'm going to have my foodie card yanked right about now.
Uh-oh.
There are some things that are non homemade, house-made, made from scratch products that are prepared that are really good in and of themselves. If you forget that they're prepared products, you don't ask how much sodium's in them.
Sure.
I love Spam.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I do too.
I
then come-
love prepared.
Then come
I-
this Friday. We're Aloha Fridays. We
Actually,
do spam and eggs.
just when I said that,
Oh.
our producer, Vegan Danielle, just jumped out of her chair and gave me the look
She's like, "No."
from hell.
She did not.
She did. She gave me a look like, what the heck are you talking about? But I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love ballpark yellow mustard, and I know that food should not be fluorescent, but I still love it.
I love Beaver Sweet Hot Mustard, so
Yeah.
that stuff too. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our goal was just to make sure that we were stepping up enough to stay with the cool kids on the block, but also, be unique and be ourselves.
Yeah.
We're that kid in high school. That's
And
all.
I think that does put you on another level, because I cannot believe how many places I go now where they go, it's in-house ketchup. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm so used to Heinz, got to be in the,
Sure.
and it does taste different, and
Yeah.
it does taste better, and it's not overly salted, and yeah. So
I like
love
tomato jam. I don't frankly think that there's a lot of merit in house-made ketchup. If you want ketchup, get ketchup. They make perfectly good ketchup
No.
products. If you want to make a craft house-made jam, I'm all for that. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And we had Matt Gordon on the show a couple of weeks ago, and on his burger, absolutely the best thing on his incredible hamburger is that tomato bacon jam. I mean, it
Sure.
is
Yeah.
just
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Let's
Yeah.
not forget about the restaurants that don't serve ketchup.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
that's
yeah.
right, Jane.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I used to live above one.
and you feel like you're going to be sliced to death in a second when you go ketchup. Don't even bother asking. It's like, whoa, okay, excuse me.
Vodka?
Kind of
Well,
American here.
yeah.
Grew up with ketchup.
That's right.
There's also a restaurant that shall go nameless in Little Italy that doesn't want you to have utensils.
We're all going, huh? What place is that?
Oh.
But okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Jane just realized what it was. I
Because there's one of them in North Park too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
all right, I'm the one left out of this one. I have
Underbelly.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
they serve this ramen,
Yeah.
I
and
never been.
and
You take the bowl off the tray. They don't touch
No
the
way.
bowl.
Yeah.
But they want, because they don't want their hands.
And
so
you're-
you take
and
it,
they're,
you just drink it, right?
I did not even know
you just
that.
no.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to do the noodles?
You do get chopsticks,
You
right?
do get
chopsticks.
chopsticks.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't know how to
You,
use it,
you don't
if
get
But
you
you
don't
don't
you
get a
don't you
spoon,
don't
you
get a
drink.
spoon.
No.
You ask for a spoon, no spoon for
yeah,
you.
gotta figure you gotta figure it out.
I'm kind of okay that, because when there's an amazing sauce or broth on anything,
Yeah.
and you can't get that, my boyfriend and I have no problem just putting it right up
I've got
to
no
our-
problem with
yeah.
that. I've got no problem with doing that as an option.
Yeah, you want the option to not have to do that.
Try-
No,
kind of-
I mean, I'm very food snobby, and
Way
I
food
I
snobby.
really
Way.
am.
Weird.
But I don't like I maybe it's my anti-sense. I don't like being dictated. This is how you are going to eat it.
Sure.
Well, and even in some places, it's how you order things, and that's maybe more fast food. Like I grew up in Hollywood, near Pink's Hot Dogs,
Awesome.
and if you didn't order Pink's, if you just didn't know how to order it, they would just give you a look.
Sure.
So there's that too. It's
Yeah.
like you got to know how to do it.
It's like going to Philly and getting a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Not,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
knowing wit or wit out.
Oh,
Wait,
they're
yeah.
like chop,
Yeah,
chop,
they'll
come
kill you.
on, let's
Yeah.
go.
What I've actually never been to either of those two.
Oh my God, I've been
you-
someplace you haven't.
You have. If I if I go there and I ask for it with,
Yeah.
am I shot?
Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah, I've
the
eaten at Pat's
H
and
the
Geno's, so-
Maybe.
yeah.
Well, they'll look at. I think they're used to it now. I think they get used to it.
Yeah,
I think they're
no.
used to the people coming in and saying, "This guy, this jerk, just say with."
Yeah. Right.
Where's when did the H come into this word?
We'd have to consult our resident Philly expert, Jack Monaco, on that one, who also believes in Heinz ketchup and Heinz ketchup only. So
Yeah.
did I get that right? I
It's
think
the
so.
best. I mean,
I just-
besides homemade,
Yeah.
it's
No,
it's
but
the
I
best.
honestly, going back to that, I think that that I like it because it is the best, not because it's it's popular, not because I've tried making it and I've made some very good ones, and it's not as good as
Hey,
Heinz.
yeah,
and I have yet to try one that's as good as Heinz.
I think Heinz has a nostalgia to it too, though.
Yes, it
reminds
does.
you of your whole life you've been eating Heinz.
Well, they had to try 57 times.
Yeah.
And look at it as a barbecue judge, and always what I say, being a saucy girl, and then having learned to have to eat a lot of the meats without barbecue sauce on it because they want us to taste the meat.
Yeah.
For years, I've always said, really, one of the best bottled barbecue sauces is Bullseye.
Sure,
I really
absolutely.
like it. Now I've had so many scratch in-house made sauces.
You can taste it.
But but it's still one of the best bottled. But
wrong
there's
with it.
so many new ones now and stuff too. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But
So
Go ahead.
Going back, Jayne, you're in San Francisco and experiencing a foodie revolution that was going on up there when we were both up there. You're looking at San Diego, which at that point hadn't exactly experienced a food revolution.
Coming back, I felt like it was still all the chain restaurants I grew up on with my family, but there was a few new things happening. It was just more modern or fusion. It was I don't know. It was just hard to find. I think at the time it was the Linkery, the original.
Oh, yeah.
The old little one, and we saw them doing it, and I don't know. That was encouraging. I thought, people are ready. People are ready for this.
But what made you think that a gastropub would work in a place that didn't really even have pubs?
I didn't think it would. I didn't know it would work. It was really we just dove in. I mean, I remember thinking, where are 30th and Adams? Where is this? Okay, I remember. We just didn't know. We dove in head first, literally built the place ourselves, and it was just really grassroots. And a lot of it just came to be as it happened.
The other thing that really, thinking back and thinking about how courageous you guys were, you're opening something that has the word pub in it. If people in this town thought anything about what a pub was, then they looked over at Shakespeare's and they thought beer.
Yeah.
Okay. And yet, John, your husband, decided, that no, let's go wine.
Well, I think we are on 30th Street. There's a lot to compete with beer-wise. People have breweries space that we realized.
Then they didn't.
True, but I think we always tried to have 6 rotating taps. We had probably a larger bottle selection then, but I don't know. It's now I think we leave that to a lot of those neighborhood places, and we don't compete on that as much. But we always have a great selection. We've had Trumer Pilsner on. We were like the first account in San Diego, and that and Guinness, and always some local changing beers. But I don't know. And then I think we just fell in love with wine. It was
let's
just,
talk, let's talk about your wine list. We were there last night, and I'm looking at it, and there were, and I like to think I know a fair amount about wine, it's a fantastic wine list precisely because it's focused on regions that are not particularly popular in America, regions that a lot of people. I think if we ordered a Provençal wine last night, I doubt that you could go to 100 foodies in San Diego and ask them to name one Provençal wine,
especially a red.
That's not Rhone. That's not Rhone, and get a single one. I mean, that's
there's an ocean of wine out there, but I think for us, it's just finding. Anyone can come in and ask for a big buttery Chardonnay, and we can serve that. But I think to be able to educate a little bit and we'll taste you on stuff, but Ribolla Gialla by the glass. We just try to a Chocolina from the Basque region that I guess over there they pour from a very high above the glass and you get a slight effervescence, right?
It's a white wine that is a very, very clean white wine. I guess it's incorrect, but think Sauvignon Blanc, and it has a fizz to it. And it's the wine of the Basque region. It's the wine of the tapas Pincho bars in San Sebastian, etc. And they pour it from up here, and this fizzy stuff goes down into this glass, and it's if you drink it on its own, it's not necessarily the wine that you would choose. But if you
It
have
loves
it,
food.
it loves food.
Yeah.
It is absolute. This is a wine that was made for people to drink with food
Yeah,
and
but
to drink with tapas.
but wouldn't we be hard put to find all those elegant, elevated wines in a British gastropub?
Yeah.
I think gastropubs in Britain absolutely have good wine lists. I think that's part of
I
what
don't know.
a British gastropub is. It's getting beyond just the beer.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think we have a good friend, Jeremy Parson, who he's an Italian wine writer and blogger, but he kind of really opened us up many years ago, maybe a year or two after we opened, but to the Italian wine. And that was really kind of my first love. And like we have a Nebbiolo by the glass. I
Yep.
just think, I love Pinot Noirs. But I don't know. It's just, they've
You also
been
have
doing
a
it for
really
long time.
deep selection, not deep in terms of a lot, but going to Riojas that that a lot of people have not heard of.
And that's a great one to
yeah.
turn people on to. It's not that it's hard to find, but Riojas, I think, especially the Reservas, I think sometimes for people looking, they were maybe a little scared of old world wine, but looking for something
Very approachable.
approachable, maybe a little modern. I think Riojas can have that. You don't need a big, heavy cab. You can have a wonderful. It's big, but it still drinks lighter and elegant. It's just doesn't compete with the food.
Yeah.
So great.
Well, let's get back to the food because I'm so not a
Okay.
drinker. But, but does a gastropub or even a sports bar, especially I would think so, have to have a burger?
Yeah.
I do think so. Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, you both have them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, would it be a gastropub without a burger?
I think everyone should. I think
Not in this
sushi-
country.
I think sushi
Right?
restaurants should have burgers. Everyone should have a burger.
Everyone.
I don't think the sushi restaurants should
Everyone.
Oh, they have those sushi
Yeah.
burgers.
With
Oh,
with the ramen.
with all the rice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
but not,
genius.
but
Gross.
not with fish.
Yeah.
I am not a fish burger fan.
Oh,
No, I
I'm
don't.
an everything burger fan.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Let me ask you, what food shouldn't ever be in a gastropub?
I don't think there's anything that shouldn't.
Stump them a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything
You
that
could
shouldn't.
have anything.
I think you can do whatever you want in a gastropub. I think that's what the beauty of it. I think it just allows you to honestly do whatever you want. It's just you could.
You're not gonna have sushi in there.
Why not?
I mean, why not? But that's probably the only thing I
Well,
would.
but I
would
talked about
go.
izakayas. Izakaya, if you buy my
That's
theory that
true.
izakayas are gastropubs, then you absolutely can have
think-
sushi in a gastropub.
People that have gastropubs are the people that didn't feel like going to culinary school because we didn't want to be taught the rules.
Right.
It's just we broke down. You get to break down the walls. You just do
Yeah.
whatever you want, and you kind of listen to your guests and take some a couple gambles here and
I
there.
think-
But you really just have fun with whatever you want to put out there.
I
Right.
think there is an answer, and that is tweezer food.
Tweezers should stay out of the out of my
yeah.
kitchen at least. I
Yeah.
interviewed a guy that came in and was tasting things with tweezers, and I said, "Well,
What?
this isn't going to work out."
What do you
buddy."
mean? In front of you? As
Yeah,
a-
while
as
we
a-
were interviewing and he was doing his stage, he
Get
pulled
the
his
hell
tweezers out of his
out.
chef coat and
Look,
Right.
I have no
Holy
problem with
moly.
tweezer food. I really don't.
Oh, yeah.
He
But
prefers it.
I don't want it in a gastropub.
No.
That's not what I'm looking
No.
for.
I
No.
agree.
And I like some of it, but a lot of it, I'm sorry. Give me a meal.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I
want a meal.
want to be full. I don't want to have to go to Taco Bell
Exactly.
afterwards. Yeah.
Jack
So
in the
for
Box.
our for our listeners or viewers who don't know, what is tweezer food?
It's meticulous plating.
You mean the stuff you did
What's
on
that
MasterChef?
wonderful
The
next-
stuff that I
She
did.
did on that
Maybe that's why I don't like tweezers. I hear Ramsey.
So it's Gordon's fault.
I can hear Gordon Ramsay every time I see tweezers. Even when my wife's plucking her eyebrows, I scream. Tweezer food is beautiful to look at.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
it's eyes before mouth, which everything should be, but it's definitely eyes before mouth. Tweezer food is
A little precious.
it's
It is.
absolutely gorgeous.
It's so precious.
It's such an art to be able to do what they do. I mean, I've tried it at home just for like
Yeah.
Instagram pictures and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, and I'll just throw the tweezers out. I hate them. My hands are too big.
Well, I'm doing a cookbook that is going to have a fair amount of tweezer food
Sure.
in it, but I don't like tweezers.
Yeah. I don't even know how they do it. I can't pick anything up with tweezers.
I can
With all
do
the
it.
coffee I drink, I'd be.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I call Willie, like, Willie, what are you doing with these things? Very quietly, he tells me to put them down. Go back to making me a cheeseburger, buddy.
Does a gastropub have to be seasonal? Should it be?
I think we can. It's, you
Can
know,
or must.
I don't think it's a must.
I don't know if it's a must, but I think where we are, San
Yeah.
Diego, California, there's just too much fun
It's-
seasonal stuff to play with that I
especially with San Diego. San Diego's turning into such a foodie town.
It
You
really
you
has.
just got to keep up. Don't
Yeah.
get left in the dust. I mean, there's parts of San Diego where people just never leave. You know, up in parts
Keeping
of
it
North
fresh for
County
your
where you can
regulars.
leave it how you want to, but
Right.
you know, in places like Adams Avenue and Little Italy and North Park and Hillcrest, you got to keep up.
And actually, I think North County has changed dramatically.
Sure.
I mean, you mentioned Willie Ike from 608, and I mean just all of the great restaurants, and we've already mentioned Dave and all of the great restaurants in Oceanside in particular. I mean, we are absolutely dealing with a revolution up there that's happening faster than
Fast.
it happened down here.
Sure, absolutely.
Right. So let me ask you first, Nick. What's up next for you? What's coming up?
I don't know. You know, I think I'm really, really happy with where we are with Bar One. Jim and I have talked about maybe, expanding, opening another place. Right now, we're happy with what we're doing in Little Italy. We're really proud of the response we're getting with our guests, with our regulars, with the tourists that we get in during tourist season. We don't really want to mess with anything.
And it's not even a year. Is it a year old
We
yet?
just had our year anniversary 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a big party. I'm still have a headache.
Thanks for the invite.
We didn't,
hello.
that was like that was actually scarier than the day that we opened.
Oh,
Because you're like, I wonder who's gonna come and celebrate with us. So
Right.
like 6 people. It was packed. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. Then I'm kind of glad I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was
so.
a good time.
Good for you.
But I think that's where we're at. We're just gonna
Okay.
play along with we're getting comfortable with our menu.
Yep.
Finally, our kitchen is like a part of me now. I don't know where anything is in my house, but I know where everything is in this kitchen. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun this fall. We can't wait for football season. We're gonna do a real football kind of focused menu, which is gonna be really cool, and then have some fun during the winter.
So what are you going to do with foie gras?
Foie gras is for me. It's
God,
personal.
I know. I saw his T-shirt. I'm like,
That's a personal love of mine.
love
that
it. Love
stuff.
it.
Yeah, we're not doing anything at. Maybe that's one of the things you don't put in a gastropub.
There you go.
There you go.
I think you can do a foie gras burger.
I think you could too, but I wouldn't be able to sell it. I'd eat it all. I'd have a heart attack
Yeah, no kidding, right?
before we even opened.
Little rich.
Yeah.
And so what's next for you, Jayne?
Oh, that's a good question. We always thought about restaurant number 2, but then I had 2 little girls come along, and they keep me running. I've got
How old are they?
Yeah.
Faye will be 3 on Friday, and
Oh.
Romy just turned 6. And they, it's a bring your kids to work day a lot for me right now. So, I think it's really maybe just kind of putting stuff even just back into Jayne's. On the other side of the patio there, we have a little more space, and
Right.
we're trying to maybe look at doing more events and opening up the space a bit. But looking towards the summer, we're going to do some great wine tastings on the patio and hopefully get a couple wine dinners
Great.
scheduled.
Nice.
Great, fantastic.
I can't wait to come back and try more things at both of your places.
Absolutely.
So it was very good.
All right, so one of the segments that we have every time on the All Forked Up podcast is the specialty produce vegetable of the week. And this week we have watercress.
Say that
So,
again. In
watercress.
Watercress.
So I'm going to hand this to you guys. And so let's start with Nick. Nick, what would you do with it?
Give it back to you.
Because you don't use that at Bar One,
Well,
right?
We actually actually we did. We did a watercress puree that we
Oh.
actually blended into our mayo, which
Mhm.
was really nice.
Oh,
'cause
yum.
it's like it's got a lot of arugula properties. It's got that peppery, but it's a little lighter than an arugula. Arugula punches you in the
I think it's
face.
actually more of a cleansing vegetable
Yeah.
than arugula is.
It's just bright with a burger.
Yeah.
It helps cut that really
Right.
the meaty and cheese. It's nice. I never liked it before, but I like it now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's different. We talked about it a little before. Yeah. That's what I would do with it. I would turn it into an aioli, or I would toss it into a salad, maybe with some ahi.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah, that's
ahi's
wonderful.
like a nice crusted ahi would be nice with that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That
Jayne?
sounds good.
I might be cheating because we do a dish already. It's what comes to mind, but it's a special. But we do a bacon-wrapped filet mignon with shoestring fries and then a fresh watercress salad with a tarragon vinaigrette. There's just something about the combination with tarragon with this. It's just delicious.
Mm.
Now I'm going to cheat because Mercy's told me that she she doesn't know what it is. So I'm going to say, Mercy, take a bite of it.
I mean, I know what it is. Have I cooked with it? No.
So what are you going to do with that?
Oh, wow. That is really good on its own, peppery. What would I do with it? Well, I would probably put it on a sandwich or something too.
Yeah, I could work on
Right?
a sandwich.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? I could see it on
Absolutely.
a sandwich, and I could even see it just giving it the little spiciness that it needs too.
Mhm.
Like even on something simple like a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
No, I think that
I like it.
anything you're going to have a lot of fat with.
Sure.
Oh, there you go.
This is, watercress is going to be great with because it's going to cut there's a certain acidity to it and the pepperiness to it that are going to complement and also cut the fat. I think that you're going to, I just think it's great on its own. But one of the interesting things is while it's a classic vegetable for French cuisine, the French brought it over to Vietnam. And it's used a lot in Vietnam and in China, but particularly Vietnam, where there's a dish called bo luc lac.
I know that.
Yeah, it's and bo is beef. Luc lac is actually an onomatopoeia for the sound of cubing meat. So you know luc lac.
Yeah.
And then they love doing that.
Yeah.
The American term for it is shaking beef, and you may know it from the Slanted Door in
I'm
San
thinking
Francisco.
of the other place, but I'm blanking on the name. The little French Vietnamese
Oh,
place that was, one block off of downtown.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
hidden. What was that called? But that was my favorite dish there.
It's a great dish, and tonight I'm going to be playing around with that. But it's basically cube marinated beef. That's browned on all sides, and then it's usually served over fresh watercress with the heat of the meat actually wilting the watercress ever so slightly.
Can stand up to that.
Yeah, and it does. And the sweetness of the marinade plays very well with and the acidity of the marinade plays very well with the pepperiness. Beef and that work great. I'm going to be doing it with kind of something that's a cross between a potato horseradish pancake and kind of a potato horseradish mashed fondant.
Nice.
And playing with the horseradish beef thing. Horseradish also kind of echoes the pepperiness. We'll see how it works out. It's either going to be absolutely fantastic or really suck.
It's gonna suck. Can you use it in a stir fry? Because it doesn't seem like it would hold up very well.
You're going to put it in right at the end. But
Right
it's
at the
not.
end, yeah.
It's not really a stir fry vegetable.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't think so, but-
it has a kind of. Although if you actually.
I really
take the
like the
leaf.
flavor. Like
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
more. You know.
You can use it anywhere you would use arugula, but if you look at the leaf, it's a pretty. It looks substantial, but it's actually a pretty delicate leaf.
Sure.
And so I don't think it's going to stand up too well to heat, and that's why I think a lot of people, I think probably at least 3 or 4 of us, didn't like it as kids because every time we got it, it was cooked to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets real bitter. The longer you cook
Yeah.
it, the
Oh.
bitter.
That makes
All you get
sense.
is the bitterness.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh,
get any.
floral.
There's sweetness. Even though the first thing you taste is pepperiness,
Yeah.
when you bite into it raw, there's a sweetness to it as well. That disappears completely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Le Colonial. That was the restaurant. Le Colonial.
Yes.
Came to you.
And
right?
also, there was one over in Oakland, Le Cheval Blanc.
Yes.
That right in downtown Oakland that did a
So
great
good.
shaking beef. Yeah, I remember after I completely blew the first question of my bar exam, went there for lunch and it cured everything and I passed.
Well, we want to thank Nick and Jayne for coming in today and talking about the whole Gastropub phenomenon. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it will become more and more so. But thank you so much, you guys, for coming in.
Well, thank
you.
you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Thank
and
you.
And we have our next show all forked up and ready to go. We're going to be talking about the barbecue road less traveled. We have a lot of places in town that do Texas style barbecue. We have a number that do Kansas City style barbecue.
Right.
But we're going to be focusing on the larger world of barbecue. Chris McAfee from the Smoked Hog's going to be here, and he's an incredibly talented.
And it's all
guy.
regional sandwiches there. In fact, we've just recently got completely hooked on that place.
Yeah,
so
that place is.
I mean, I've been
that
back-
place is the real deal.
Whoa, really
cool.
good. And then
Yeah.
we're bringing in. I'm sorry.
No, that's very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's very cool. You got to go in
You got
there.
me excited.
Yeah, it
Water
is.
in mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unusual because you just expect to see ribs and brisket and blah blah blah, and it's regional sandwiches mostly. So, and then I'm bringing in we're also bringing in a dear friend of mine, Gene Goycochea, who is the pitmaster at Cali Comfort, but he's also very very big celebrity in the Kansas City Barbecue Society world. He's a rep at most of the big barbecue competitions. He trained me as a barbecue judge, and that man has traveled all over the country eating barbecue. So we're going to be talking that kind of stuff.
Sounds good. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.